Hi there. Welcome to Bourbon Turntable. This is the show that blends the love of music with the love of whiskey. Tonight, I've got a really cool guest. The new band just released their debut album in January. It's a band called Mind Reader, and I have on the show with me Brian Sachs. He is the drummer and the songwriter for the band, and we'll have a really good time talking with him. I asked him, "You drink whiskey?" And he says, "Never had it before in my life, but I know he drinks. He drinks tequila." And I caught him drinking absinthe on one of his videos, and more of that with Brian in just a few minutes. But before we do that, I wanted to tell you about the Bar Cart Co-op. Well, there's Bourbon Turntable, and there's Bar Cart Co-op. Bar Cart Co-op is a collection of friends who produce content for the whiskey enthusiast and beyond. Distillers Talk with Alan Bishop and Christy Atkinson. On this show, they will talk with distillers from across the country, around the globe, about anything and everything in terms of distillation. Be sure to tune in. It is a wonderful way to geek out if you are a whiskey nerd. Speaking of nerds, One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute. It's another Alan show. If you're a distiller, you got a question about anything in terms of distillation, post a question to Alan, and he'll give a response to you and everybody else. And finally, if Alan didn't have enough to do, he has a show called If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. On this show, they get into things like ghosts and everything, spiritual, unique, extraterrestrials, meaning of life, you name it, they'll talk about it on If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. My Whiskey Den with Pat and Mike and Morgan every Monday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. My Whiskey Den, where craft whiskey is king. Be sure to check out their wonderful guests, and they have some great tastings, and it's always fun to hang out with the folks in the chat. Last but not least, Whiskey in My Wedding Ring with David Levine. David has a outstanding blog that you need to refer to because he makes some wonderful recommendations in terms of all spirits, really. And he also has a podcast where he'll interview distillers about their product. So be sure to check that out. Now, Bourbon Turntable, you can check us out on YouTube. And if you're doing so right now, kindly hit the subscribe button. We would love to have you with us every week. Watching the show isn't your thing, you'd rather listen, maybe you're driving in your car or whatever. Hey, we got you covered. Check out the podcast, whether you are in the Apple world or Spotify or whatever it may be. We are there for you. Now, did want to do a semi-victory lap on my Kentucky Derby predictions from last week. My top choice, emerging markets, did not win. So, sorry about that. But I did tell you to be sure to place a wager on the long shot Golden Tempo. Now, Golden Tempo didn't go off at the odds that I'd hoped, but he did go off at pretty good odds. So if you watched the show and heeded my suggestions, then you cashed a pretty good ticket on Derby Day. Well, enough of all of that. I've got Brian coming up in just a minute, and we will be sipping on some whiskey. Brian is in Colorado, so we'll be sipping on some Colorado whiskey from Leopold Bros and Deerhammer, our good friends out there. And he's also a tequila guy, so I've got him some barrel-aged agave as well. So we'll have a really good time with all of that and learning more about Mind Reader. Well, I've heard that these days we don't hear much joy and laughter. Well, hopefully tonight we have a little joy and laughter, and that is a lyric from the debut album from Mind Reader. And I have with me Brian Sachs. Brian, welcome to Bourbon Turntable.
I really appreciate it. I'm glad we could get this on the books, and I'm glad that we could finally make this happen. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. I will often when the weather gets warm, I'll sit on my back deck and I'll just start going through music, trying to find things new. And I came across you guys and was really blown away by the album. And I don't know, I've listened to it, I don't know, 10 times, dozen times since I reached out to you, and just really impressed with it. And we'll get into the details of the album in a few minutes. Let's go ahead and get some whiskey going.
Sure. And by the way, just so that you know, this is my first time ever drinking. Maybe it's not, because when I was a kid, I drank Southern Comfort. Is that considered whiskey?
Yeah, sure.
That was the last time I ever had it. Was it?
Okay. Now, I'll say this: the first thing we'll try together, and I picked a couple of brands from distilleries from Colorado, because you're in Boulder, correct? This is from Denver, Leopold Bros.
I've had their absinthe, which is excellent.
Know. I watched the video to Morning Light.
Oh, you can't. It's so funny. My brother-in-law saw that also. He noticed that absinthe. Yeah. I'm a big fan of absinthe. I truly am, and that's a good one.
Well, I'll have to hook you up with some absinthe then soon. But yeah, I thought that was hilarious, because every time I'm watching something and somebody's pouring something out of a bottle, I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, what is it? And I thought, it looks like he's pouring absinthe. And then the bottle sat down and the camera panned past it, and sure enough, there it was, our good friend Todd Leopold and his absinthe.
I absolutely love that attention to detail. That means a lot to me, because we're focused on those little details, and when you see them, it's like, oh, somebody is paying attention.
Well, let's have some of this. This is a 8-year-old bourbon from Leopold Brothers Distillery in Denver, Colorado. That's been aged in the
on the rocks. On the rocks. On the rocks.
You can drink it, my friend.
Okay.
Yep, you're good.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
To good health.
All right. Cheers. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Delicious. Really, 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 really good. Excellent.
Yeah. Very good. And for somebody that's not had real whiskey in a while, it's 110 proof. So there's some punch there to it, and you took it like a champ.
Well, I like tequila. Like I'll drink tequila straight, and I like absinthe straight. So I like when the ice is in it and waters are down a little bit. But
yeah, well, that's good stuff. It really is, and Todd does a great job with everything he does out there. I don't know if you've been to his place or not, but he is a huge music fan too.
Oh, I'd love for him to know that we put his absinthe in our video, and I'm a fan of it.
He will.
Okay.
I'll make sure he knows.
Cool.
So that was a really cool connection there.
Awesome.
But tell me how you got into music. Did you come from a musical family, or how did you first get your start into music?
I have a belief that we're probably all born with a mission here. That's what I believe in some way, and some find it and some keep searching for it. And when I was just a little kid, I remember hearing Proud Mary. And then I heard the Beatles. I heard I Want to Hold Your Hand and Help. And it was like a religious experience that a little kid can have when you hear music. Like, I couldn't conceive of where it came from, or like what it was. Was there a band? I couldn't figure it any out, but I was so attracted to it. And then through the public school program, I took drums, and I never thought I would be good or anything, because I was a terrible student. I was kind of a loner kid, just had my own vibe. And I started to excel at the drums, and I started to get known as the drummer, and it was a skill set that I built an identity through school as the drummer. So I got started really young with it, and I identified deeply with being a drummer.
Yeah. So you played in high school cover bands and things of that nature?
I was always more into original music. Like I was always fascinated by original music. So my neighbor played guitar and he wrote songs, and we started playing in 5th grade. I started playing, and then I was in my first band. It was, and he came around actually to help introduce me to Michael Brower, the guy that I played in my first band with in junior high school, John Haber. And then I was just in bands, and then I would play like on music night. They'd have like, I went to school in New York, so it was a large school, and they would have the school concert, and I would do Gene Krupa. I did I played a lot of, like, I was the featured drummer for those nights, and it was like electric for me because I was like the star of the show, and I was like just amazed that I was able to do it. I was as surprised as anybody else.
That's fantastic. You play anything else besides drums?
I taught myself guitar, and I write the songs along with Tonin, but I'm able to get around a guitar enough where I could write songs on guitar, and they're not fancy, but I could play. I could sound really good at a campfire.
Okay, that counts.
Okay.
No, but being able to play being the songwriter as the drummer is somewhat unique. There are a few examples out there, of course, but being not just the lyricist, but putting down the tune as well. Being able to play it at least at some level, so you can convey to your bandmates, this is what we're doing, and then you may do it simple, but when your band gets hold of it, they bring in the complexity.
Totally. Yeah. It's very true. And I'm actually reading, or I do audiobooks, Phil Collins' book, Not Dead Yet.
Yeah.
Did you read it? Or
I've not read that, no.
And the band Genesis is such accomplished musicians. Tony Banks, Mike Rutherford, Peter Gabriel, and Phil Collins had all these 3-chord songs that he didn't want to give to the band because he was so embarrassed by them. And he couldn't remember if he gave In the Air Tonight to them and they turned it down, but he was just like, I got to just do my solo album because it's only 3 chords, and the guys they want a lot more complexity. And
one of the most iconic songs of all time. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he said then he had another huge hit called Against All Odds. That was another 3-chord song or 4-chord song. And he said, it's a B-side at best, and just keep it. And as a drummer, you're very, very, very insecure. And it was nice to read that Phil Collins was insecure. You get insecure because you're the drummer. Quickest way to get fired from a band is, as a drummer, is say, hey, you want to hear my new song?
That's awesome. So do you remember the first album that you bought with your own money?
Mm-hmm. Elton John's Greatest Hits.
Okay. Very cool.
This is fantastic. I'm really enjoying it, by the way. It's delicious. Really, really good.
I'm looking forward to you trying the others. So what drew you to Elton John's Greatest Hits, or Elton John in general?
He was so over the top, and with the sunglasses and the way he would parade around. And then I heard Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. And I was mesmerized by it. I still, like, you listen to Elton John, and then I love Border Song on that album also. That was, and then Your Song is on that Greatest Hits. Daniel, Rocket Man, all these songs are on there from his early career. And I was just like, it was so powerful.
You hear the first chord to Benny and the Jets.
Yes.
And you know it's Benny and the Jets.
And you know what? I never shut it off. I never, if I hear Benny and the Jets, I'll never have so many great Elton John songs. I'll never shut off. I never shut off Band on the Run. If I hear, I know that's Paul McCartney, obviously, but I've heard it a million times, and I'll never, ever turn it off.
Right. Pull in the driveway. The song's on the radio. I sit in the car till it's done.
Exactly. Totally. And that's what great music does, you know? Yeah. That's what great music is able to do. I have a line in our the second album's already written, and so is most of the third. And there's a line The second album is called The Soundtrack of Life. And the concept is how music paints our time, how music paints the time that we have.
Love it. That's very cool. Do you remember your first concert?
I do. It was Meatloaf.
Oh,
at the
really?
Westchester Premier Theater. It was right when Bat Out of Hell came out. I was in fifth grade. I was in fifth grade, and I went with a neighbor, and it was a performance. It was like a Broadway show. Jim Steinman had a very Broadway mind and did a lot of Broadway, and it was like this produced show from beginning to end, and it was magnificent.
That's very cool. You mentioned Proud Mary. You mentioned Stevie Wonder, I think, was it? Or
I didn't mention him, but I could always talk about Stevie Wonder.
Well, I don't remember who you mentioned, who else you mentioned initially, but what influences from your early days, from your youth, you still draw from today?
The Who, Bruce Springsteen, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, Rod Stewart and Faces.
Okay, is that not what Rod Stewart did with the Faces, and then his first solo album, Every Picture Tells a Story? Are those just everybody ought to listen to that's ever thought about rock and roll music? That ought to be on your heavy rotation. It's just incredible.
Yes. And the Stones, like, I like, and though it's so funny, I don't know if it's funny, but I think about my favorite albums from my favorite bands, and they're not the ones you would go to. So my favorite Beatles album is Let It Be. Why? Okay. Because they came back together as a band. And a lot of, like, Phil Spector added a lot of orchestration after the fact. There's actually a release of Let It Be, Stripped, I think it's called, or it was before all the Phil Spector overdubs. But for the most part, it's just those guys with Billy Preston playing again. And it sounds so magnificent to me. I was just listening to the album on Sunday, and I was just like, God, it's so fantastic, and it doesn't get old. I love the sound of a band playing together. I love it. And that's Rod Stewart had the same thing. Faces had the same thing. My favorite Stones album is Black and Blue, which not a lot of people listen to, but I just put it on, and I just absolutely love the sound of a band.
Hot Stuff off Black and Blue is probably one of the most underrated Stones songs.
I would agree. So Memory Motel is on that album. Yeah. Hey Negrita is on that album. Fool to Cry is on that album. So much great music is on that album.
Yeah, very cool. When did you first start playing professionally? When did you start getting paid gigs?
I was I went away to college, and then I came back home, and then I saw this band playing called The Authority, and I saw them in New York, and it was unbelievable. And I got a connection. I knew they were looking for a drummer, and I joined the band. And The Authority started to become one of the biggest bands in New York City. And in the early 90s, there was a major scene in New York City that Spin Doctors came out of, Blues Traveler came out of, Joan Osborne came out of. Those are the bands you know, but there was a whole host of other bands that came out of the Lower East Side. And a lot of people involved in that scene. Jeff Buckley was a part of that scene, but just a couple streets down. He played at Sine. And we used to all work 4 to 5 nights a week in Manhattan playing. And then we would play gigs with the Spin Doctors. And then we got managed by Bill Graham. And then The Authority started to get very, very big. That's actually how I found Colorado, because we did 200 shows a year for 7 years straight. We were the house band at the Wetlands. We were in the heart of the scene. We were on Lollapalooza. Ice Cube flew us out. And I really thought that when Ice Cube flew us out and said he wanted to sign us and all these things, we played with Fish nonstop. still like the nicest guys. We jam with Trey. They put us up at their house when we played up in Nectar's in Vermont. We were all in the scene. Dave Matthews opened up for us at the Wetlands. Okay. And then we would swap gigs with him out in Virginia. And the Authority was slated to be the next biggest band. We were a mix between Prince and Santana. And it just didn't go to the next level. I don't believe we had the songs to get to the next level. And I gave 7 years of every ounce of my life to that project.
Yeah. Were they letting the drummer write the songs?
Absolutely. Well, it's funny. Rennie was actually a drummer, the lead singer. And he got out from behind the drum set, and he was a fantastic drummer. And he got out from behind the drum set and started to write the songs. And it was very challenging because Rennie was a really badass musician. And the new school of music is where Bernard Purdy would teach. And then Aaron Comas, the drummer from the Spin Doctors, went there. And all the guys from Spin Doctors and Blues Traveler went there. And this was the upper echelon of musicianship in New York City. And you have to get to a certain level of New York City. And I was a suburban kid with a mullet into Genesis. So when I got thrust into that scene, I really got an education on what it was like to be a working musician and put your time in and really become a monk to your craft.
Yeah. Yeah. So how did all of that eventually morph into Mind Reader, and how did that come together?
Well, you got about 10 years. So I moved out to Colorado. We were playing the Fox here, and it was a very difficult life just being a musician. And to be honest, I was tired of being broke. I was tired of being on the road. I was so bitter at that point because our friends were all hitting it big, and the question that everybody would ask us is, why aren't you guys signed? You had to be signed to a label. And I was like, if I knew that, don't ask me that question. And I moved out to Colorado, and my mission was to get away from music, to leave music completely. And I started to play with a band here. And then I went 25 years without playing music. There was this local band that I would sit in with, and that's actually how I met Matt. So I built my own business, and I'm an entrepreneur. And I left music completely, and I actually became a fan of music. Never thought of writing a song, never had songs come to me or through me, never had the drum set up in the house, never played the drums, totally left it, but became a huge fan of music. I discovered my love of music again by going to Red Rocks and going to concerts and falling in love with music again, and the joy of music without the competition of any of it, just as being a music fan and being in the crowd and not even feeling like I was even a drummer anymore. I didn't even know I still had the skill set to sit behind the drums and even play anymore. And then as my life advanced, I was like, I want to play a little bit. And I'd go on Craigslist, and I found this acid jazz trio. And then Tonin was there the night I auditioned. And then he quit that band the next day. They hired me to play. And I was like, he was so good. And he was like the hippest thing in that band. And I played in that band. Like, we would do acid jazz, and we would play little restaurants. And I was so used to these big stages and the Authority and playing on Horde. And it took me a while to just play light and not approach every gig like it was Madison Square Garden and just play. And I got to play twice a month. And I got fired from that band after 10 years of hard service. And it was devastating to me because I just said, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the last time, I'm not going on Craigslist anymore, and maybe this is the end of it. Right. And I called Tonin, and I'd see him occasionally during the course of 10 years because he was friends with that band, and he'd stop in, and I always liked him. It was like, he's a cool guy, big football fan, big hockey fan. We would always talk. Yeah. And I said, do you want to play together? He's like, you just got thrown out, just relax, whatever. And then out of nowhere on July 4th weekend, my son had turned 21, and we went up to a mountain town where my friend was playing. And I never go there. And I never, ever go up to this mountain town and go see my friend play. It's just not common, but I just did this day. Who's sitting there batoning? And I pull him outside and we were like, let's make the music that when we were 14 years old, we loved. Let's just go downstairs. And I thought this whole thing was just going to be me and him going in the basement once a week, just jamming, because he plays guitar, I play drums. He knows how to run the recording equipment. And I thought it was going to be this. And through a whole snowball of event, this thing started, like songs started coming. And I was like, oh my God, I have this song. He writes something called Nuggets. And I put the melody and the lyrics to them. And then I met Shelby, because there's a very well-known musician here, Eddie Roberts. And I asked Eddie if Shelby could come sing some of our songs. And I was so intimidated because Shelby is just magnificently, incredibly, I think he's a generational talent. And he came down and I was like, I'm so shy to show this incredible musician our songs. And when he did that first session, we recorded Simply Avante, Falling Down, and Radio Warning. And then I heard him sing those songs and I started to get a panic, because I was like, oh my God, I'm back in the music business. Like, this is bigger than anything I could have ever imagined. It almost short-circuited my nervous system when I heard it.
Yeah. Shelby, well, let me say, when the first time I listened through a handful of your songs, the first thing that came to my mind was Simply Red.
Wow.
And I think that was because of the soulfulness of Shelby.
Wow.
Musically,
I love that.
There's some of that there too. There's a little bit of that there, but I think it was his voice. It's just what is it, Mick Hucknall?
I keep holding on.
Maybe not the same register, but man, it's got that soul to it that it just hooks you and brings you in. So I love his voice and what he's doing, and so I great that you were able to pull those guys together. Are you ready for some more whiskey?
Sure. Let me refresh this glass so I get the full taste. Give me 1 sec.
You can do that while I tell everybody about Deerhammer. Just such really, really good stuff from Deerhammer Distilling. This is not a bourbon. This is an American single malt. It is a triple cask. It's been aged in oak, an apple brandy cask, and a rum cask. And so we got a lot of stuff going on in this one. And to me, one, it's a Colorado distillery up in Buena Vista, but the complexity of this kind of reminded me of the complexity of the Mind Reader album. So cheers to that.
Salute to that.
So let's kind of move towards the album a little bit. That is the album cover. I don't know if that's a tribute to Metallica or Spinal Tap, but none more to that.
I was thinking AC/DC, Back in Black.
That works too. Yes, absolutely. But just a few thoughts that I want to share, and then you can react to that, and then we can dig into what really matters is what you have to say about it. It's, in a lot of ways, it feels operatic or symphonic because it is so layered, and nothing seems by accident. Every note, every instrument, every phrase feels very well planned out, but it's not stiff. Thematically, it feels like there's some sort of concept album at work here. It's like a good therapy session in a lot of ways to me. And I don't know your spiritual background, but it feels like reading the Psalms, where David will start out and this problem, I've got this problem, and this is going wrong, and I don't know what to do about that. And then eventually he gets to the solution. And I think in this album, eventually you get to the solution that you're looking for. It kind of has the feel of I mentioned Simply Red, but I think you can also say My Morning Jacket or Blind Melon. And I say Steely Dan because of just the complexity of it, with all of the amazing instrumentation, but no individual part overwhelms the song. And a lot of times in rock music that happens, and we love it. You know, if you're listening to Led Zeppelin or you're listening to the Who or whatever, yeah, here's a huge drum fill, drum solo or guitar solo or bass solo or whatever the case may be, or huge vocals. That works there. Everything feels like it's about the cohesiveness of the song and telling the story. There's a lot of atmospheric tones in it that I think bring about just a whole range of emotions. You know, from sadness to joy. I think it's a very refreshing sound to the album. And congratulations to you, because this is a great drum album.
Thank you.
Great drum album. And so those are my thoughts. Am I on track with what you think, or am I off base?
You're so on that it really, like, my eyes are watering from it, to be honest with you, because it's from the heart. It's an album of authenticity. It's an album of a life well lived, and wanting more of that, like more life. Please, God, give me more life. And the search that, you know, there's so much that divides us so much, and it's more so now than ever. But what unites us in this human experience? What connects all of us in the human experience? It's pain, it's joy, it's love, it's laughter, it's connection, it's wanting, it's prayer. There's so much. There's rock and roll. There's so much to it, and I don't look at this album as a debut. And somebody wrote this in a review of the album. I look at it, it's almost like this culmination of time. It arrived for this story a life well lived, to have this story told. And Shelby's very young. He's like 31, but he's got that old soul, and he is an old soul. And you know, you take the authenticity of a life well lived with that old soul, and you come from the deepest part of your heart. And it's very, very like us all, we protect ourselves, we protect our emotions, we protect how we want to share that. And what's interesting about songwriting is you can't do that if you want to be a great songwriter. You have to get to the heart of the matter. And there are some lines in this song, when the line came to me, I was like, oh God, please not this. I don't want to write this. I don't want to do this. And with that being said, there is one song on the album. When you release something, you have to let it go. As an artist, when something is so deeply personal, and this album is deeply, 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 deeply personal to me. The second album is not as tormented. This was during a very turbulent time in my life, and a time of awakening, and a time of disillusion, and a time of seeking, and a time of great spiritual growth. And it was hard. Really, really, really hard. And to put it out there and have it judged or criticized or analyzed is not an easy thing to do. And I was, when I was ready, I was ready. But there was one song that I was not ready. And the night before it got released, I was just like, I can't handle putting this out there. And it's Morning Light. Morning Light to me is the song that's the most, like, it has so much interpretation to it, but it's the most meaningful song to me, because it's about generational trauma, and it's about healing, and it's about forgiveness. And it's about love, and it's about what love could do in the search for love. And that's what the whole album is about. And that's the human experience, isn't it? It's about love. That's what it all comes down to. Everything.
And that it's tough to say, but that one may be my favorite song on the album. And I think the video that goes along with it is very poignant, and there are scenes in the video towards the end that indicate towards a generational sense of forgiveness and resolution, redemption.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Redemption, Bruce Springsteen put it best. I was watching his song. I love Bruce. And because I grew up in New York, New Jersey, but Bruce was saying the verse is about the struggle and the chorus is always about redemption. Always about redemption. And on this album, I did that a lot, where the chorus is about that redemption. There's always the struggle, but we need that redemption. And not every song has redemption. Not every single one does, because it's not always possible. But when you do have that redemption, it gives it those epic choruses that great arena rock and roll is built upon.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to kind of talk through the album with you, but thoughts on the Deerhammer?
I love the Mind Reader analogy of the complexity, because I totally get it. There's a lot of this is a lot more complex, a lot of different flavor. It's delicious. I actually really I was nervous about drinking this. I'm actually enjoying it very much. I actually love it.
Good. Glad you do. So if you're ever up to Buena Vista, go by Deerhammer.
Absolutely. I am in Buena Vista quite a bit. So
ask for Lenny Eckstein. Tell him you know Bourbon Turntable, and they'll take care of you. So let's talk through the album a little bit. The first track is Radio Warning. And there's a line in there that this train leaving behind all the ghosts. That's a really great imagery there. So tell me about what was inspiring you and what your point is on this song.
In my mind, this person has been through a lot, and the opening line is the opening line of the album is "The full moon shining with a halo glowing," and that's a sign that leaves no remorse. So you got to know the reasons why you've done the things you've done. And no matter how hard it is, and no matter what you go through, when you see a halo around the moon, maybe there is a higher power here. Maybe there is something deeper than what the eye could see. And that optimism of it's not around the sun, it's around the nighttime and the moon. And maybe in that darkness, that light is really what carries us. And if there's one theme that's consistent through Radio Warning and consistent through almost every Mind Reader song, is there is a light in the darkness. There's always that light in the darkness. That's our theme. And in Radio Warning, it was, in my mind, it was the days before internet, when you hope it's warmer by the coast. You're not quite sure. You just can't get that information. And and things seem really down, but this character has a lot of hope. And this character wants to get a second chance. And what he does know is there ain't no joy in living a lifetime alone. So that isolation, those protection mechanisms, everything that you do, maybe it's not meant to be alone, but maybe it's a life worth sharing. And he doesn't know where he's going, but he's on his way. Yeah.
Yeah. The next, well, and Mind Reader is a great, I call it a mid-tempo banger, because it's not just, it's not hitting on just everything's on fire out of the gate, but it's a really nice introduction to this album, both from a musical standpoint, a lyrical standpoint, and it kind of sets the tone for what follows. And the next song is Simply Avante. And this is a kind of an acoustic-led toe tapper with a really cool message to it. So Avante means what?
It means I was with my son. He was about 11 years old, having a really hard day. We were on the Jersey boardwalk, and he's crying. And this old Italian couple was arm in arm, walked up to us and was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "He's having a hard day." And they go, "We have a statement in Italy. It means simply Avante, onward and upward." And me and my son always said that to each other.
Yeah.
So the character at this part of the song, and why it comes second, is all right, he's looking for love, but it's 4 a.m. and he's tossing and turning with the words to say to you. He's back in a battle again. He might have met somebody and he's fighting again. But onward and upward, we're going to get past this. We're going to not get stuck in it. And what are we here for spiritually? From time, we're free to be who we are. Who are we? What are we supposed to be here? I'm not just a drummer. I'm not this identity. I'm a soul living here on planet Earth. And what am I? What is it? What's the search? Why am I here? What's going on? What is it? And again, that's the whole quest of the album. It's the whole quest. So Simply Avante is, all right, I may not know what it is, but I'm still on my way. But onward and upward, we're going to stay positive.
Yeah. And the song has a musically, instrumentally, it feels very positive. And while it's it's talking about how do I move on and from the issues that I'm facing, the things that I'm dealing with. So there's a really nice counter balance to this song. It's really well crafted.
Thank you.
Falling Down gets a bit more somber. It feels like we're dealing with some failures that just keep you can't get past, and they keep coming back.
Exactly. That song is like I call it a mandala, which is this pattern that you just get into. So the character starts out with a lot of optimism, but then those old demons keep showing up, and falling down is not redemptive. Falling down is just that. It keeps falling down to you, falling down to somebody else, not standing up for yourself, not finding your voice, not even knowing what your voice is. And you're just stuck in the mud and you can't get out, and not everything, not everything can always have the light. Sometimes you got to be in that darkness to truly know what the light is.
Yeah. But great sax solo.
Isn't that great? I think it's I appreciate that. We haven't been doing it live. Shelby plays a guitar solo on that is absolutely mind-blowing. The live performance is shocking, but at some point I'm going to do that live, and I'll get a sax player out there to do that.
That would be great. Oslo. Oslo is probably the song that I had the most difficult time kind of wrapping my head around what was going on there, but it just seems to be a song between two extremes, and extremes of pleasure and pain and light and dark and high and low. It's almost a manic depressive kind of song.
Exactly. I was in Oslo. Truly, and some of the scenes are actually, there was a coffee shop with Porsche cars in it, and I was feeling everybody wants to say it's either or, but life is both end, and the atmosphere of Oslo, really, it's very far north. It's similar to Alaska, the latitude and longitude. And if it stays light, it's light all day. If it's dark, you're in the darkness of winter. It has the extremes there. And Carl Jung says that true alchemy occurs in the tension between the extremes. So between the light and the dark is when true transformation occurs. And that atmosphere lends itself so perfect to transformation. And what I was experiencing with my partner and now my wife there. And that song is a tribute to her and the transformation that's possible within love. Through darkness and light comes alchemy of transformation.
Yeah. The next song, the first time I heard your album, I shared it with a friend of mine who is also a musician, songwriter. He's put out a few albums, and said, tell me what you think of this. And so he listened to it, and he's been through some struggles himself, and he loved the album. He says it's I think he said it's the most therapized rock music I've ever heard. But his favorite was the next song on the album, "Leaving Our Lives."
Wow, that's cool.
This feels like you're just making the choice, the very conscious decision to take a break mentally from the things that are haunting you, plaguing you, gnawing at you, fighting for your heart and your mind and your soul.
Totally. Yeah, to me, it's a summer daydream with your lover. It's that perfect day when you hear the buzz you see the bees and you hear it, and the sky's perfectly blue, and there is no time. It's just this day that you just wish could last forever, and everything is perfect in that. And you hear the song on the radio, you feel the touch of your lover's hand, and you're going nowhere in the car. And the album, I felt like, and this is the end of side one, it needed a break. It needed some levity from all the torment of searching for love. It needed a genuine moment of togetherness and the simplicity of love when everything is flowing. And I actually wrote that song. It's 1, 2, 3. It's 4 chords. And I was able to write that song on guitar. And it's kind of like that Phil Collins song. It's not very complex, and I was embarrassed to first show it to Shelby because it's so simple. But I feel like it's the lungs of the album. It's the deep breath. We all get to take a breath and enjoy the car ride and enjoy that song.
Yeah. It is a terrific song. I think that everybody can relate to that. Whether it's the stress of a day or a week or a lifetime, just finding some peace, finding some relief in something for a moment, and hopefully finding peace for your life. But sometimes we just have to settle for what we can get, and that may be just that moment or that day or whatever it may be.
Exactly.
So we're starting side B of the album.
We are,
and with "Morning Light," and like I said, this is maybe my favorite song on the album. We've talked about it a little bit, but one of the first of all, the spelling of morning is not morning like the AM. It's morning like MOURNING. So that kind of speaks to some of the issues or the pain that the storyteller in the song may be feeling, or the character. That song, like, a lot of life transpires between the close of side 1 and side 2, and it's the song is about generational trauma. And then what is it that we want to leave behind? Do we want to leave that behind? So the chorus is always redemption. And the first chorus is, may love reign through me and echo through this town, through the morning sun and the evening rain and the hereafter. I want my memory to be, when I'm no longer here, of love, of positivity, of leaving behind something that is positive, of that vibration. And if I stay wallowed in that generational trauma, I'm not going to be able to hit that goal. And so the chorus is like, I fear that love is creeping in the corner. It's in the corner like some thief in the night. Is it attainable? Is it not? But I don't know, but the character's going to get there. And then the one line that was the hardest for me to write, and I was like, do I really have, like, I sometimes feel like, I feel like I'm getting downloads when the song comes, and it goes, unknown living is what we've all been given, which is the truth for every single one of us. And please forgive me for the words I haven't spoken. That line just killed me. I couldn't get through it. First 60 times I heard that song, I cried every single time. There wasn't one time I didn't cry on that song. And it can still get me. that was the lyric I'd written in my notes, was please forgive me for the words I haven't spoken. And
what are we not saying to the ones that we love? When what if we don't get to see that person again, would we be okay with what we told them, with how we felt about them, with what we shared with them? And I don't want to have a lot of those. I want to share my love freely with the people I love, and I don't want to be a prisoner to not sharing that moment, regretting that moment, or anything. So I think we all need forgiveness for maybe the words we haven't spoken.
Yeah, and I think that when I think about that, okay, well, how does that apply to me? Okay, because ultimately, when you're listening to the music, I think what you want to be able to do is, okay, this isn't just some bubblegum pop song. This is somebody that's laid their heart out here, and they're posing some pretty profound questions and making some pretty profound statements. So what does this mean for me? And
what does it mean for you?
I look at that and I think, how well do I do at that as far as the words I haven't spoken? And I've thought about that a lot in the last few months. My dad passed away in December, and it just those kind of things make you think. And what I've found is that I don't necessarily do what I should do every day in that, but it's something that it recurs, it orbits through my mind, that kind of thing. And I'll make the moment to reach out to somebody that I may have talked to and may not have talked to a while, or may not have told in a while how much I appreciate them, how much I love them. And so that to me is progress, not perfection, but progress in that.
I'm really happy to hear that. Like that's why I feel like these songs have been given to me and to the band, because again, what connects us all, and that I think it's something we could all relate to. I don't think there's anybody out there that could listen to this podcast right now or watch this and not reflect upon their own life.
Right. To tell the people that matter to you that they matter to you.
Yes.
Tell them that you love them, that you appreciate them, that you respect them, that they've made a difference in your life.
Or if you owe somebody an apology for something that you did,
absolutely,
ask for that forgiveness.
Yeah, forgiveness unlocks a whole lot. But so to segue to the next song, this is kind of the Bad Company analogy, where we had the band Bad Company with the album Bad Company and the song Bad Company. We now have the band Mind Reader with the album Mind Reader and the song Mind Reader, which is a killer instrumental. It's Rush-like in as far as being an instrumental. I love it. I think he's frozen.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. You were very still.
No, if you want me to expand on it. So Mind Reader. So after the heaviness of Morning Light, I wanted to bring in the joy of rock and roll. And that was me meeting Tonin. And that's what I thought all of us, what this whole band was going to be, was just that. Because me and Tonin could do that till the cows come home. There's no vocals on it. We like to rock. We could do that till the cows come home. And that is who we are at our essence, is two 14-year-olds getting together and just really enjoying the power of rock and roll. And I will say this with great certainty. There will be not one show that we play that song does not get played. It sounds so good live. I think it's my favorite song to play. It is so... And if you want to see us live, just go to our Mind Reader MYND channel, and we just posted our live show. It's a 5-camera shoot. I don't know if you had a chance to see it.
Yep, I did. Mindreadermusic.com, and you can see them on Facebook. Instagram and YouTube, and of course pick up the music on all streaming platforms. But the live video of you guys playing in Denver is on YouTube. It's only maybe, I don't know, 38, 40 minutes long, but because part of what I wondered is, okay, there's a lot of layers, a lot of complexity to this. How does this translate live? And it translates really, really well.
I'm really happy with that video. I think we sound better live than we do on album, in my mind.
Yeah. The guy that plays keyboards, Chris
Spees.
There's some Deep Purple in Boston in him.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Man,
I love his playing. Yeah.
Very good. Very, very good. And I love your bass player too. He played.
Oh my God, Zach Jackson is the best.
He can play a real heavy bass, like on Radio Warning, but then he can play very light, very jazz-like as well. Really talented guy. So
the band is fire. The band is absolute fire.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about what's going to happen live in a minute, but Mind Reader is just a cool song, and it is kind of that. Okay, you kind of got a breath with flipping the album over, and then you're hit with Morning Light, which is a fantastic song, but it's heavy in terms of the theme of it, and then boy, you get a really nice palate cleanser or breath of fresh air with Mind Reader.
Exactly.
Home. So then we kind of head into the home stretch of the album with Home. To me, I get a little Joe Walsh in this. There's I don't know. There's something about a chord progression in there that reminds me of Rocky Mountain Way. And I don't know if that's intentional. I don't know if it's just coincidental.
No, I gotta listen to, like, I just heard Rocky Mountain Way the other day, but I don't hear it. But I'd have to listen to it with fresh ears now.
Well, I don't know. Could be I had too many pours of whiskey that night. But this song seems to be about, okay, whatever life brings, bring it. I just want it. Is that kind of where you're heading here?
That's it. No, it's so difficult. It's so challenging. We have our struggles. We have everything. But God, please give me more. Please give me more life. More life, please. More life, please. Just give me more of it. So no matter how difficult it gets, if it's just a prayer, it's hard as it is here. What a paradox. Please give me more of it. I want more. I want more of this. So I think it's really at the heart of the theme of the album is that quest for more life. Like, wow, that realization that, all right, I don't even care. I don't care how hard it gets. I just want more of it.
Well, but the basically all of side A of the album is talking about, okay, this is hard. This is a struggle. I'm dealing with problems. And there's always a little bit of hope there, but this song seems to be more focused on, I don't care about all of that. I'm ready to live. Come what may, I'm ready to live, and then just keep on living rather than trying to run away and escape my problems. I'm going to live despite them and through them, and be better because of it.
That's exactly right. That's exactly that.
Bird Song. I love this song. There's such a counterbalance in play instrumentally on this, because it starts out with beautiful set of strings. And now, did you use real strings or were you using keyboard strings?
Those are real strings. Yeah. That's real strings.
Yeah. But then the drums and the guitar on this song are about as heavy as any on the album. So that's a really interesting thing to me from an instrumental standpoint. And the one of the revelations that seems to happen in this song is that the thought of I can't do it alone. And we started out the album with thinking that we're going to have a lifetime alone. And here we're saying, I realize I can't do it alone. Was that an intentional kind of connection, or is that just how the songs came out?
When I started to see thematically, it was kind of unintentional, but to me, the album, that there's a term in Buddhism called samsara, where you keep coming, where you're born and born and born again until you work out your issues. Like my mother used to say, it could take you 10 lifetimes to work on jealousy. It all depends on what your particular issue is. Mm-hmm. And we keep repeating and repeating and repeating. It's like the movie Groundhog's Day until we find a way out of that loop. And to me, that's what that song is about. It's about the drudgery of life. Birds just do it, or the animal kingdom just does it without questioning it. Where, as far as we know, we're the ones on this planet that have the ability to think or reflect or think about why we're doing this. And if we don't get out of our own way, we get stuck in that pattern. So this song is about, maybe even in this lifetime, we're born and born and born again. And there's a new version of myself or yourself on this album, or it's you're born and born and born again, in lifetimes, depending on what it is. How can you change the pattern? What needs to change so you can get out of your own way?
Right. I don't believe in reincarnation, but I do believe in redemption. I do believe in restoration. I believe in transformation. And I think that's what we're all working through. And
that's what the song is about at its heart. It doesn't matter about reincarnation. None of that matters. It's can you get born again to be the best version of yourself? Can you do that? Is that possible? Can we do that?
Right. And we can't do it alone.
It's very difficult. I don't think if you live in a cave that you can do it, because you may be safe there, but in that isolation, there's not a chance for interaction about how what you're doing affects another human being, and then how that affects you. And I think that interplay is what really is the ability, what creates the growth. It's not being in a cave for 30 years. I don't think that's going to, maybe you find enlightenment there, but what do you do with that enlightenment if you don't even share it with anybody, or you don't have any interactions?
What's the point? What's the point? Yeah,
exactly.
We're ultimately, I think in a lot of ways, we're ultimately measured by how we impact and influence and help the other people around us. So living in a cave, you can't really do that.
Exactly.
Then the album closes with Think About It. And at this point, it seems like the character in the album has figured it out. And he's figured out that it's all about love.
It was the first song I ever wrote for the project.
Yeah.
Never and Tony, bless his soul, when the drummer comes up with a song that it's all about love, and he still stayed in, he showed up the next day. I knew I found my partner in crime at that point. And there's one line in that song that really touches me. And the song's a hymn, really is a hymn. In my mind, it's a hymn. Yeah. And it goes, I can't give and not receive it if I really want to be it. So love is not just about giving love. It's the ability to receive love. And if you're scared of love, or you've been hurt by love, receiving love is very, very, very vulnerable place to be in, because it's not something you can control. It's not something that you control. When you give love, that's pretty easy. You're in control of that. Right. When you receive love, there's an amazing amount of vulnerability that I believe in the human experience, at least what I've found in this human experience, that receiving that love is the most terrifying thing of it all. And if you could truly receive that love, if you welcome that love, even though you can't control it, even though you can't harness it, even though you don't have any of that, even if you just get it for a little bit, what does that really do? And to me, it's about that continuation of that light. And it's the way it really it's a hymn, it's a prayer, it's the summary of the whole album. And I believe it with every fiber of my being that receiving love, being worthy of receiving love, feeling like you're worthy of receiving love, and being honest with that vulnerability is how true transformation and love, like that's what it's about. That's what the heart of the album.
Yeah. And just the album itself, you know, I hope that everybody that's listening will listen to this album. But when you do, start with the first song and just let it play through, because it tells a story, and it's like reading a book. You don't need to jump to the middle. You don't need to jump to the end. Just let the album play itself out and see what that journey is, and see where you fit in that journey. Mm-hmm. And I think this is one of the first albums in a long time that I thought that you need to listen to it from beginning to end, not just because all the songs are great, you know, and not, you know, no skips, no misses, but because you need to see how everything develops within the album. There are a lot of great albums that I've heard that, yeah, there are no skips, there are no misses. Listen to the whole thing. But this one, start at the first and go through it and listen to it intently, and then listen to it again. You may listen to it once, and instrumentally, you may be tuning into that. You may be locked into the guitars, or what Brian's doing on the drums is just phenomenal. But then listen to it again and listen to how the lyrics really tell a story. This is something that is well worth your time and attention.
I really appreciate that. That's why I do it. And in this attention deficit economy that we live in, I don't want to play by those rules. I want to play by the rules of, hey, if you're in this human experience and we're not in such a rush to read a book or to listen to an album, play it from beginning to end, it's meant to be that way. It's meant to be an experience to go through. And those are my favorite albums. Wish You Were Here, I listened to it from beginning to end. There's Quadrophenia, I listened from beginning to end. Who's Next, I listened to beginning to end. There's so many albums. Zeppelin 2, there's so many albums that I put on. Elton John's Greatest Hits, was beginning to end. So
if I can't sit down and listen to Quadrophenia from beginning to end, I won't start it.
Correct. Exactly.
Right? I mean, usually I'll pick a time in the fall, because to me this song has a feeling of autumn about it. But I'll pick a time where I know that I can sit down and I can start it with, what is it? I Am the Sea.
Does it start with I Am the Sea? I feel like it starts with a prelude. Like it starts like there's a it's like I could be wrong, but I think it's like Quadrophenia. I think it's like it starts with Quadrophenia. I could be wrong. I don't think I Am the Sea starts it, but
I Am the Sea starts it.
Oh, it does.
And then you go all the way through to
Love Reign Over Me.
Yeah. So if I can't set aside, what is it? How long is this album? The hour and a half, whatever, to listen to the whole thing, I won't start it, because it means that much to me.
Exactly. I love the song Sea and Sand. I absolutely love that song.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, like I said, that's a rock opera and concept album, and as I said, I think there's something operatic about this Mind Reader album, and it certainly I think falls into the category of a concept album. And we talked about before we do that. Let's, because you told me when I asked you if you drank whiskey, you said no, I drink tequila. What I sent you, it wasn't tequila, but it's this
Blue agave
spirit, which is tequila, but you can't call it tequila.
Nulu. I'll try it. I got about 5 more minutes, and then I got to wrap it up. Though I apologize.
Right. Let's take a sip of this, and then we'll talk about.
You have me served fresh.
Yeah. So this is barrel aged for 6 years at Nulu, which is in here in Louisville. So you got to check it out if you're ever in the area. And
by the way, I have dinner with Michael Brower tonight. That's why I have to go. He is the 7-time Grammy Award-winning mixer, and he produced our new EP that's coming out that was acoustically driven. And I'm very excited about it. And we have a great new album coming out.
What? Just real quick, and I know you got to go, but when I listen to this album, the way that it's mixed, it makes such a huge difference. Because you could have mixed it in a way that really brought out the drum fills more than what they were, or brought out the guitar solos, put more fuzz on the guitars, and this would have been a different kind of rock album. But what he did, and what I'm sure the band did in contemplation with him, was produce something that was really, really spot on with the concept of the album.
Michael's a genius. He's a member of the band. I absolutely love that guy. We've formed a great friendship. He's done the Rolling Stones, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, Coldplay, John Mayer, My Morning Jacket. You name it, he's done it.
Yeah. Well, maybe next time you come on, we can have him on too. How about that?
He would love to do it.
Yeah.
Michael's a great guy and very interesting interview. He doesn't drink though, so we'll give him some lemonade.
Cheers.
So this is delicious.
When are you guys going to go on tour, and when will you come to Louisville?
My Morning Jacket's from Louisville.
Yes, they are. Yep.
My favorite band. They're my favorite band. They are my favorite band right now. Are you a big fan of theirs?
I like A Morning Jacket. They're not my favorite band, but I like them.
Have you seen them live?
Yes, I have. Good band. Yeah.
My goal is to be like them in the terms of and playing live. We're putting together a tour in the fall right now. We're organizing that. I really hope we get to Louisville. I want to play everywhere. I am so excited. I absolutely love, if I was just a drummer of this project, it would be a dream job as a drummer. It's such an amazing thing to actually be one of the songwriters in this band and play drums for this band. It's such a dream come true for me. It is so thrilling and so much fun. I had the best time playing at Cervantes. My happy place is behind those drums, and I want to do a different set every single night. We have so much music. We have so much songs. The first album I'm so proud of, and I feel like we've gotten better. What we have coming out is so, I'm so proud of the songwriting that we have, and I'm looking for a really long career in this, and we are going to play everywhere that is humanly possible, and we are going to be around for a really long time. We are built for the long haul, and we are going to hit every city in the United States, and we are offering an evening of rock and roll redemption that we will deliver every single night, and all are welcome in our tent. It doesn't matter. Everybody is welcomed under our umbrella.
Love it. I can't wait to see you guys live in person. And be sure to check out Mind Reader, mindreadermusic.com. You can see them on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Check out the YouTube, man. There's some good videos on there. The live video at Cervantes in Denver.
It was at Cervantes, yeah. Leave a comment if you see it and you got it from this show. I'd love to see people. I'd love to see the community. We could all share bourbon together. And where there's so much that connects us, so much more that unites all of us on this planet than separates us. And that's what interests me as an artist. And that's what interests Mind Reader as a band, is where we could come together in the human experience and celebrate the trials and tribulations of life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, love it. I think the album accomplishes that. It gets that message out. Can't wait to hear Soundtrack of Life and what else you have coming up. And like I said, can't wait to see you live too. And have a pour of whiskey in person together. So
Absolutely. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your attention to detail. I appreciate the interview, and I really appreciate you reaching out to us. And thank you to everybody out there listening. I really, really am grateful to share this music, and that it touches people and it touches you. It really enriches me and really gives me like a dopamine hit of like joy. So thank you.
All right. Well, have a great dinner. And everybody out there, thank you for watching. And until next time, cheers.
Salute. Thank you. Appreciate it.